Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 182. It is Friday, August 31st, last day of the month. I'm your host, Kellen, with me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Tim here.
So on the show today, we're recapping our Galaxy Note 9 review that is posted. We've done all sorts of videos and things like that on it. It was kind of a Note 9 last couple of weeks, which makes sense. It's a big phone launch. We've also got Pixel 3 leaks just everywhere. Like, we didn't do a show last week because I was off, but there was a bunch of leaks last week, and now we've got more this week. So we just kind of want to talk a little bit more about those because we finally got a big leak of the regular 3, which I'm excited about. I know you still are a fan of probably the notch version, but we'll talk about that. It's also IFA or IFA going on to this week in Berlin. So there's a whole bunch of new phones, new Wear OS watches, a new version of Wear OS, a Google Assistant everywhere, a whole bunch of stuff. And we will have trivia also. Trivia at the end of the show. This week, we're just giving away Google Play credit to our winners. So 5 winners each will get $10 of Google Play credit. And that'll be at the end of the show. And we'll talk more about that once we get there for those of you who are new. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Yeah. Note 9 review. Let's talk about this for a second. So Note 9, mine's over there in a box already. That doesn't mean I don't like it. So we've had it each I think you've had it for about a full week. I think I was about 2 weeks. We whipped through unboxings and tips and tricks and S Pen stuff and talked about all that stuff. And then a review went up this week. What would you say our sort of just general takeaway from the Note 9 is?
General takeaway is that it's a fantastic, large phone that offers everything you may want from a Samsung flagship device. It's got all the specs. It's got great battery life. It's got a really good camera. It's got fantastic hardware. It is rather large, but that blue and urine yellow or urine gold, whatever you call it, the S Pen, it's a nice little contrast. So it's a really hot phone, and I hope that we put that into words during the review. However, I get this sense at the end of the day, I'm just so bored with the phone, if that makes sense. It's kind of like every other Samsung flagship. Especially with the Samsung experience, the software isn't really evolving. They're adding new features here and there, but it's just sort of the same phone, just maybe in a different body with updated internals. So it's hard to not become bored. However, I understand some people's argument. Well, how can you call this phone boring and not the Pixels boring? Well, I don't know. It's just a personal preference thing.
Yeah. It is kind of a weird idea, actually.
It is. It's weird, but that's just how I feel about it for some odd reason. I don't know why. I'm still trying to even comprehend it in my own mind. But the phone just seems kind of boring. However, it's the end of all phones. It has everything, like I said. And so don't take what I'm saying, as a negative. It's boring to me, but it's probably the best phone you can buy right now if you've got $1,000 to drop. So I have nothing but positive. Exactly. And so I have nothing but positive things to say about it.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. Now I know somebody's already guys joking in the chat that I already have it in the box. I can't wait to get it out of the house. I used it for 2 weeks. I would say the first few days were exciting because it was this brand new big shiny phone. It's got good weight to it. I actually like the new blue color. I think it's actually really pretty on some of the other blue colors that Samsung's done. I had a whole bunch of fun playing with the new S Pen. It's got Bluetooth. There's some cool tricks there. I actually had a bunch of fun with it the first week, and then about a week in, the thing that bugged me was just the size. And you guys know for years I've complained about the size of phones, and it's not that much bigger than the Pixel 2 XL. I think it's this much taller. It's not really that much bigger, but there's a weight to it. All that glass and metal. It's certainly heavier. It doesn't fit as comfortably in my hand as the Pixel 2 XL. There's something about the Pixel 2 XL that's just, there's usability there. So anyways, I started falling out of love with it because I think the size I threw a pair of slightly tightish jeans on, and the thing was just you could see it was taking up my whole thigh. You just see it in the mirror, and so it's just the size bugged me, which is why I couldn't necessarily use it. That said, I totally get why people would love this phone and want to use it. The display is just obnoxiously good. Like, I think that was one of the first tweets I sent out about the phone when I had our review unit. It's just that good, especially coming from Pixel 2 XL, which does not have the best display on the planet. The Note 9's display is just incredible. It is designed well. It looks nice. You know, the fingerprint sensor in the back kind of, they still look a little awkward, and the fingerprint sensor's not in the best spot, but like it's got everything kind of you need where it's supposed to be, other than the Bixby button, which I'll talk about in a second. But S Pen's there. It's got plenty of RAM and storage and dual cameras and water resistance and a headphone jack and fast charging and fast wire. I mean, like, you can't, like, there, I don't, is it missing a single thing? I mean, in terms of hardware, I don't think so, right?
No, I mean, it's got the fast charging, fast wireless charging, NFC, MST. It's got everything.
Dual cameras, one's dual aperture. I mean, like, both
OIS
cameras are
both
OIS. Yeah, the list just goes on and on and on and on. So the phone, incredible phone. The software, Samsung, look, we rag on Samsung's software experience all the time. It's not that bad. I don't like it. I prefer other versions of Android. It's totally fine. You know, you can put a Pixel theme on it, which I always do. If you wanted to, you could put your own third-party launcher and really change. And so it's Android, right? You can do all of that stuff. So the software I don't love, but it's totally fine. You mentioned in the review, there's no performance hiccups. Like, it runs fine. Samsung's finally optimized. I shouldn't say finally. The last couple of years, the Samsung experience has been pretty good, but I too get a little bored just because I didn't feel like Samsung did anything new with the software. I think it'll be next year. They'll hopefully change some software up, maybe change the design up, but there's nothing really wrong with it. It was just too big for me, and I don't like Samsung software. That's it. I don't have complaints about anything else with the phone. So yeah, Note 9, really good phone. Price though, this is kind of what we talked about. Like, the Note 9 is probably worth $1,000. Because it has everything, because its performance is great. It has one of the best cameras, has the best display. It has this S Pen that has Bluetooth now. It has all this stuff. It probably is $1,000 phone. When you talk about all of the things that Samsung baked in there, it probably is $1,000. So it's hard for us to say, like, well, no, it's not worth that. You shouldn't buy it because it's too expensive. Well, no, if you have $1,000 to spend, you probably should just buy it. It's that good of a phone. It's worth $1,000. The only problem there is it probably does price some people out that might really enjoy the phone, right? Not everyone's going to be able to buy $1,000 or $1,250 phone if you go crazy and get the 512 gig version. So yeah, it's expensive. It's probably worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if there's much else to say with regard to pricing, right? You either, I guess, can afford it and will love it, or you can't afford it and you don't care. I don't know. It's $1,000, man, yeah. And $1,250 for that 512 gig version. So that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. There's no getting around that. It's not inexpensive. It's not cheap. It has everything. I see there's some people in the chat that are like, no way, no, that's not worth it. The thing is, when you were buying phones that were $650 and $700, people complained about the price, and $750 and $800, people complained about the price. Now we're at $1,000, which is ridiculous. It's a lot of money, but it has everything. It has everything. OnePlus has talked about how a component prices keep increasing, and I don't know if that's actually true or not. They just keep saying that, which is why they keep saying their phones keep getting $30 more expensive every time they release a new phone. But Samsung, we're there. The only thing I would hate to see is if next year, let's say the base model is $1,250 or $1,300, because at that point, just buy a computer and bring it with you everywhere and get a cheap phone. I don't know. It's expensive. I'm not here to justify to you that you should go spend $1,000. I'm just saying I think it's probably worth when you look at all the stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
People seem kind of mad about the price.
They just hate us because they ain't us, man. Maybe they can't afford the phone. I don't know.
Like Brett asks, is it $200 better than the S9 Plus? Well, has a bigger battery, slightly bigger display, and a new Bluetooth enabled S Pen. More storage, probably $200, probably.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I guess it would come down to the S Pen. Like, do you think having an S Pen is
Yeah.
worth $200? I personally don't. Like, I use the S Pen for like, I don't know, 20 minutes
Just to try it.
just to try it, and I didn't even think it was all that great. Like, with regard to like what I could do, right? You know, I didn't have an opportunity to say, oh, I need to go take a selfie, like out in the woods on a tripod and with my S Pen as the shutter. I just didn't need that. So. Yeah.
Larry mentioned in the chat that your picture keeps cutting it out. Tim's having this weird camera issue, so it's lowering the quality in case you're watching the video, and turning it off and on is fixing it. But would you guys rather him not do that?
Yeah, I mean, do you want low quality cam, or kind of this like we know it's stuttering. I don't know why I bother with it. It's the software. It's the crap software. All software sucks.
Let's just let it go crappy quality for a little bit and see how it works out.
I'm down with crappy quality. As long as they can hear me, that's really all I care about.
Yeah. Brett was
Even though
asking,
it's
how is unlocking the Note with the S Pen? It works. It didn't work in one of the videos I did. Then after that, it worked every time I tried it. I don't know. Like, again, the Note 9 is not for me. If the software was to my liking, and I had to spend $1,000 on it, I don't know that I would feel terrible about that. I think they did a lot of good stuff there. It even has their stupid Dex software built in. Let's not forget. It's like, not that I would ever use it. But.
So Note 9, $1,000. We might as well get this out of the way. How much, and I know because we're going to be talking about it next, but how much are we thinking the Pixel 3 XL is going to cost? I mean, Google has been pricing those things pretty substantially.
Yeah, the Pixel 2 XL started at what, $850? And then the next version was like $920 or something. If you doubled the storage, or was it $100 more?
It was expensive.
Yeah, I'm worried that the let's move out of Note 9. You guys know enough about the Note 9. So yeah, Pixel 3, Pixel 3 XL. What price are they going to be at? 3 XL. I bet they'll stay the same. I bet it'll be $850 to start. And I bet that the regular 3 will jump up to like $750 base or something like that. And the reason I say that is because it's got the full screen display, and they're going to put wireless charging in it supposedly, and a second camera up front. So that's my guess. Because when you look at the Pixel 3 and 3 XL, they don't really look like that big of upgrades over last year's. I mean, they obviously have new processor, but they're supposedly just going to have 4 gig RAM. They'll probably have maybe more base storage, although the early leaks showed, and those prototypes showed 64 gig storage. So 6 gig RAM, 64 gig storage, and a new Snapdragon processor, maybe a new camera sensor. They don't really seem like huge upgrades, so I hope they don't go crazy. I would guess $750 for regular Pixel 3, and I bet the 3 XL stays the same at like $850. That's my guess.
Pixel 3 XL is going to be like, $899.
Book. They could go like $699, $899 or something, but I don't know. People are not going to be happy no matter what when those phones drop. Let's talk about them though. So a week ago, Pixel 3 XL, it might have been 2 weeks ago when it first started. There was this random Telegram channel from some Ukrainian tech guy, and he just posts up like basically an unboxing and all these hands-on pictures, and everyone went, "Oh my god." And then the next week, it was another Ukrainian site or a Russian site. I can't keep track of where it went first, but at least a Russian and Ukrainian sites have all had the phone and done their unboxing videos. And one of them, Eldar Murtazin, I think his name is, who's kind of a name that's been around for years. He basically put up an entire review of the Pixel 3 XL. And that was a week ago, where we were still like a month and a half before Google even announces the phone. So there's this rumor that these phones were being, like a batch of these Pixel 3 XLs were being sold like on the black market in like Ukraine or Russia or something like that. And I don't know if that's true or not, but there certainly seemed to be a couple floating out there, and they only were in the hands of Ukrainians and Russians. But either way, the Pixel 3 XL, which is the one with the notch, it leaked we know in the box that there's going to be USB-C earbuds. It'll obviously have a normal fast charger. You get a cool little Team Pixel sticker or something like that. I think you get a headphone adapter because there's no headphone jack. But like the phones, we kind of feel like we know everything, right? Like It'll have a glass back. It looks very pixely. It has the biggest notch ever, which people are really offended by. I feel like people are starting to get burnt out on the Pixel 3 XL. Now they're just hating because they're just tired of it, I think. People think it's ugly too, but just hating.
I think it's really unfortunate that it's been leaking so much so early. Like there's going to be no hype, at least with regard to in the Android community.
People who pay attention, right? Yeah.
Exactly. If people, and I just assume that anyone who buys a Pixel pays attention. So they already know, I guess, what to expect. They already know if they hate the look of the Pixel 3 XL or they like the look of the Pixel 3. We've seen it all now. So hard to say. I'm still down with the notch. I don't think the notch doesn't offend me as much. And I guess it kind of makes me glad that everyone hates it. Because I know that I'll be able to get whatever color I want, whatever storage option I want, and maybe it won't be sold out. However, I also feel that this is just like a faux, it's like a false kind of thing that's going on where people are like, oh, I hate the notch on the internet.
They're going to buy it.
But then in real life, they're going to buy it anyway because they want the bigger one. They want the quad HD. They just want that flagship. Not that the Pixel 3 isn't the flagship. I'm just saying like the Pixel 3 XL is the big boy. It's got the bigger battery. It's got all the goodies. Who doesn't want all the goodies? So at least the notch is kind of symmetrical, like it's huge, but it's rounded. It looks nice. And it's not terrible.
It's so thick.
Yeah. Shout out to Dave in the chat who shouted out the Pixel Ultra. That was a good one. Yeah, Pixel Ultra incoming.
There's no Pixel Ultra. On the flip side, the Pixel 3, the regular one, which had not leaked that much. We saw, what did we see? Like a screen protector a few months ago that someone then turned into a render. We did see a regular Pixel 3 that turned into a render, I thought, at some point. Either way, oh my God, in the chat, PC747 just dropped $20 in super chat. That's ridiculous and amazing. Thank you so much, PC747. Wow,
beers are on PC747 tonight.
Apparently, thank you so much. Wow, that is crazy. Thank you. So Pixel 3, it hadn't leaked much. It was all just 3XL reviews and whatnot. And people were wondering, well, what happened with the Pixel 3? Well, it showed up this week. Some dude on Reddit with a Pixel burner account, I think is what he called it, dropped 3 pictures of it and a bunch of screenshots that showed some system info like display size, 5.5 inch 1080p, battery, which is just under 3000 milliamp hour. It showed the front cameras, dual cameras on the front, and one of them was listed as being dual aperture, which would be amazing. So we finally got the Pixel 3 leak. And the people were excited. The people were excited. They've been hating on the notch so bad they were just waiting for this guy. And I feel some excitement has come back just a little bit. But there's part of me that also just goes, all right, it just looks like the Pixel 2 XL and kind of like a Galaxy S8. 9 Plus with kind of a pixel back. It doesn't really look that unique, which I think is the only thing I'm having issues with it. It'd still probably be the phone I get. 5.5 inch display is totally a great size. I don't care that it's 1080p, not quad HD. It's got all the other things I want, like stereo speakers, and it looks like a Pixel, and it'll have a great camera. So I'm fine with that, but what do you think, Pixel 3 leak? You're not changing off the notch after seeing this bad boy?
No. No. No, like I'm committed now. I've said too much that the notch doesn't faze me. I'm committed. Like if this was poker, I've already put so much into the pot where I can't fold now. So I gotta ride it out. And I'll probably end up, busting. But, whatever. I think that the Pixel 3 does look like a good phone. Like you said, it does sort of look similar to others, and maybe it can be seen as kind of boring. Not that boring is a bad thing, I don't want to misconstrue or anything. I think it's a good phone. I think it'll be probably be the phone to get if you're like a Pixel fan and you don't mind not having quad HD. It's going to have likely the same camera setup as the larger thing. Obviously going to have the same software. So I don't think you're going to really be missing out on anything if you get the smaller version. And I think that's what's important. And I think we always stress that, at least with Nexus and, from Nexus to Pixel devices, is that regardless of if there's two, it's always been roughly the same experience. And so I think that's crucial. There's just one that's larger for the people who like the larger phones and one for the smaller crowd. So I think that's a good thing. So
I think it's a good thing too. And I think that people that are offended by the 3XL, I don't think they're getting much of a downgrade with the regular 3. Yeah, the battery will be smaller and the display's slightly smaller, but it's an upgraded version of last year's Pixel 2, like same size but bigger display at 5.5. I think it's going to be a sweet phone. I don't know that I like the black one. I'll probably get like white, or if they come out with some other cool color, but I think the biggest thing I can't get over is the fact that, well, supposedly we're not doing October 4th announcement anymore, we're doing October 9th. That's a long ways away. And we've had basically full reviews of the Pixel 3 XL. And now the Pixel 3, some dude was just like, here you go, guys. Just see this thing because you've seen the other one. Like, here it is. I'm testing it. And I think he said in one of the Reddit threads, I'm testing it on a carrier that's not Verizon. So I don't know. He was sort of hinting at there not being a Verizon exclusive, but I'm not ready to buy into that yet. It's just so weird that we're this far into it. Like, to imagine an iPhone getting reviewed a month or 2 months early. That's not good. A Galaxy phone getting reviewed 2 months early. I'll pause for a second. Alex Skavronsky, I'm trying to say that right, with the $5 super chat donation. Really appreciate that, Alex. Thank you so much. That's 2 donations today. Jeez Louise, you guys. Too nice to us. Thank you so much, though, Alex. That's very appreciated.
I'm getting drunk.
Yeah, apparently Tim's getting really drunk today. So I like being surprised. I like leaks because, like, look, this is what we do for a living. We talk about new phones we get excited about and all this stuff. This just feels like too much.
This is different.
Yeah.
This isn't a leak. Like, this is a water main has bursted. The city is flooding. We've got a problem.
And it's not 2 weeks before. It's 2 months. Initially when these started with the 3XL, it was 2 months before. 2 months? Your phone is done and you still have to announce it 2 months later. It just is... Yeah.
Rick, sorry, I was gonna say Rick Cockrell in the chat says guerrilla advertising. Like, it'd be great if people were responding positively to these devices, but they're kind of not. The Pixel 3 XL, I've seen nothing but hate for it. So if this was a coordinated thing by Google, you would think that they'd want to have like the most amazing phone ever with no notch, but there's notches and people are freaking out. So, but maybe it's all a facade.
Yeah, I don't know that I believe that it's like some crazy marketing technique. It certainly seems like a bunch of people in Ukraine and Russia have stolen phones. That's what it seems like to me. Oh my God, I gotta pause again. All right, I'm gonna try to say this right. Is it Xavier Santa Anna with the $10? Xavier?
I assume it's Xavier. Xavier?
Oh, sorry, you're right. It probably is Xavier.
Yeah.
Xavier Santa Anna with the $10. Appreciate that. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry. Xavier with the $10. Appreciate that. Right after that, Iskander.
Iskandar?
Yeah, that could be another $10. You guys are crazy. What are you doing today? Oh my God.
Scott Washington with the big five.
Scott Washington just dropped
$5.
$5. The super chat is on fire right now. You guys are crazy. You don't have to do that. We just appreciate that you tune into us live. Thank you so much, everyone. That is amazing. Xavier, Iskander, Scott, Alex, and PC. Very nice.
One more time. Can you say Xavier, or what did you say?
Well, because there could be like a French version, Xavier.
Oh, okay. Xavier. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Xavier is totally what it is, though. Like the university, whatever. It's like you get put on the spot trying to say someone's name. It never works, even if it's as obvious as that.
I always butcher names during trivia.
So, back on the Pixel. I don't think this is like a marketing blitz. I think something bad happened, and this phone is out there really early. It's going to be a little awkward when we get to October 9th, and Google goes, check out our new phones, and everyone goes, yeah, great.
Well, my theory, or at least my thought right now, is what we're going to do is we're going to take all the money we've gotten in donations today. We're going to purchase a ticket to Ukraine, I believe it is. We're going to pick up one of these Pixel 3 XLs on the cheap, bring it back, unbox it, review it, etc. We'll definitely get blacklisted by everything Google moving forward, but totally worth it. I mean,
Totally worth the
that'd be
2000 stolen phone. Yeah.
yeah, 2 months ahead, like of launch. That's awesome.
Well, and if you noticed on all the leaks, they were always from these Ukrainian Russian spots. They were always the phone not set up. So they would pull it out of the box and obviously not connected to Wi-Fi or data or any of that thing. Because I'm sure Google knew. And the minute they got data, they were getting shut down remotely. So they were never. So the reviews that came out, none of them were really talk in depth, I don't think, about anything. But they would take pictures and obviously pull the pictures off. So there is going to be some sort of surprise, but just going to be a weird launch event outside of hopefully a Pixel Watch, if that actually happens, and like a Google Smart Display, that their version of that. So there will be some other new things. I just don't think the phones by that time are just going to be kind of burnt out.
I'm kind of ready for a new tablet. Like if we got like a
kind of fun,
Pixel
actually.
C 2nd generation, I'd be pretty down with that.
I'd be fine. I wouldn't use it, but I think people want a new tablet. I think it's time for Google to, because they killed the problem is they're just going to do Chrome. So like the new Pixel Book. So the new Pixel Book will just pop off and be a tablet. That'll be their tablet, which is probably fine. The Chrome OS. Yeah, Chrome OS with Android as a tablet is probably better than just a straight Android tablet at this point.
I'm back for tablets. I used to hate them, but I'm back now.
It's kind of weird. That surprised me. So yeah, the phones might be kind of pushed aside. We'll still be excited about them because we'll finally all get our hands on them. But yeah, it'll be new Pixel Book, maybe a touch display, smart display from Google, and hopefully a Pixel Watch. The Pixel Watch is something that hasn't leaked at all, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, real quick, Alex in the chat says, remember that time when the unreleased iPhone was left at the bar? Yes, and I remember like the ensuing drama between who was that, Gizmodo and Apple, and there was a lot of drama about all that. This seems worse. Like they're the full review, and there's multiple of these phones, it seems, that are just like in the hands of everybody. I mean, even the famous Russian Instagram chicks seem to have it. So I'm pretty sure you and me, only people who don't have it. So
could very well be, actually.
It's kind of frustrating.
That's so odd. We ran a quick poll this morning if people were going to buy the Pixel 3, 3XL, or Pass, and 50% have said regular Pixel 3, 16% said Pixel 3XL, and 34% said nope, passing on both. That'll change. It'll change. Don't you worry.
Well, once the phone releases and we see what one people bought, I expect the Pixel 3 XL to be above Pixel 3.
I bought the big one because the battery, and I'll just deal with the notch. It's totally fine. Guys, you can't even see it after like a week. You just don't even notice the notch is there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just reading the chat real quick. Never mind. Okay, let's see. So it's IFA this week. I always call it IFA. It's IFA in Berlin. A bunch of stuff actually got announced out of it. There wasn't a lot of hype leading up to IFA, but it's probably partly because the Note 9 came well early, and everyone else doesn't really know what to announce these days as we wait for the next iPhone and then Google's Pixel phones. However, Sony had a new phone, Xperia XZ3. It is not much of an upgrade over the XZ2, except it now has a fancy OLED display. Actually, it's Quad HD OLED, and the regular XZ2 I think was only 1080p. But it is OLED, and it's curved glass OLED, so it looks slightly prettier. And they put like a squeezy side on the side. Like you can double tap the side with your thumb, and it'll launch like an app thing. So it has squeezy sides, I believe. That's kind of the upgrade. It has a slightly bigger battery, I think, too. But otherwise, it's another one of those questionable Sony releases where you kind of go, why didn't you guys just wait till next year and really upgrade things? Because it's still a Snapdragon, 845 and 4 gig RAM, 64 gig storage, 19 megapixel rear camera. Nothing's really changed outside of the OLED display, bigger battery. Oh, and it has a new 13 megapixel camera on front. Okay. I don't even know if it's coming here or not. Oh, it has a butt notch too. It has this weird notch. It has this weird notch on the back where, I don't know why they did that, but it's the same shape as everyone's notch. So,
Bertzer's probably hyped for it.
Yes, Bertzer's still here. He was here earlier. Bertzer, what do you think about the Xperia XZ3? I don't know if Bertzer's still here.
He could be gone.
Sometimes he just goes quiet. Shouting you out, Bertzer.
Waiting for the Sony.
Come back. Come back. While we're waiting for that. So HTC announced a new phone, which they had kind of teased. It's the HTC U12 Life. It's not coming to the US at all, which is a little weird because the U11 Life did come to T-Mobile last year. The U12 Life, it's certainly a mid-range phone. I think it looks nice. It has a Pixel vibe to it. But it's got this cool, like, lined backside. It's all glass, and it has a full display front, no notch. Specs wise, it's 1080p, 4 gig or 6 gig RAM. Like, it's going to have more. The U12 Life is going to have more RAM than the Pixel 3. Think about that for a second.
Thinking.
It comes in sort of a purplish, pinkish color, and then also kind of a tealish green or bluish color. I think it looks really nice, but again, it's not coming here. It's going to be about $300 or 300 pounds in the UK. It looks okay. It's an HTC phone, and I'm sure not that many people will buy it, but it looks all right. It would have been cool if they made it an Android One phone, which I think they did in Europe last year. Motorola announced 2 phones, the Motorola One and the Motorola One Power. Bertzer never did show up. Where'd you go, Bertzer? Motorola One and Motorola One Power. These phones leaked a while ago, finally showed up. They are Android One phones, and neither is coming anywhere near the US. The regular Motorola One, which is the slightly lower version, I think it's going to the UK, Europe, Brazil, a few places. And then the One Power, which is the slightly upgraded version, is only going to India, we think. I don't know that either of these are really noteworthy, other than Motorola is promising the world with these in terms of updates. They said they are guaranteed to get 2 major OS updates. So that means Android P or Pi soon, and then Android Q. And they're guaranteeing this already. And then 3 years of security patches. I don't know that I believe Motorola for 1 second, but if Motorola is going to start promising 3 years of security monthly, by the way, patches and 2 major OS updates, I hope every phone they make from here going forward is just an Android One phone, because that's actually a pretty big promise. But again, neither are coming to the US. One phone that I actually think is really interesting is LG, a couple days before everyone, announced the G7 One, which is their first Android One phone. So it's the LG G7 One, and it has last year's Snapdragon 835, and it kind of looks like a mix between the V30 and the G7 because it has a notch. Only a single camera on the back, but it looks kind of slick, like hardware wise. Other than the 835, it still has a 6.1 inch Quad HD display. It does only have 4 gig RAM and 32 gig storage, but it has a rear 16 megapixel f1.6 camera. It looks kind of slick, and it's an LG phone running stock Android. Like, you and I've talked about LG forever and how bad their Android skin is. This phone doesn't have it. This runs Google's Android because it's Android One. It's probably the most exciting phone of the entire week, not gonna lie. So anyway,
I would have to agree.
Yeah, so LG announced that. So those are, somebody else probably announced a phone too, but those are the ones I think that matter the most. I don't know if any of those will come anywhere near us here, so we probably just don't need to talk about them ever again. But oh, see, Brett's excited in the chat for the G7 One. The G7 One looks kind of cool. It's a stock Android LG phone. I hope they make more of these too. All right, yeah. Wear OS. Want to talk about Wear OS? Got big Wear OS news this week.
Huge news.
All right, so to kick off the week, some companies announced new Wear OS watches, and I don't know why, because they all run that old Snapdragon Wear 2100 processor, and a new processor's coming. But they all announced new ones, probably just because it's IFA and they needed to announce something for the summer, back to school or something like that. However, Google announced the new version of Wear OS finally. And we knew we knew something like this had to be coming because Qualcomm has a new chip they're going to announce. Google's going to try to re-push the brand. Otherwise, it's just going to die because the current version of Wear OS is pretty awful. So the new version cleans everything up. Everything is black now, by the way. The whole screen of everything is just a black background, which probably will help with display or with battery life. But you have different access to your notifications now, and the notifications are a lot more cramped and don't take up like a single screen for everything. So they're basically just a stream of notifications, which thank God. But you also have like a Google Now assistant screen. It's basically Google Now, except now it's on your watch since they killed that on your phone, which is kind of cool. Obviously, there's going to be a big push towards the new Google Fit that was announced a week ago. I think it looks nicer for Wear OS. I guess I should just say I've been playing with Wear OS again. I've been using, this thing's probably dead, this guy, the Huawei Watch 2, again, classic. I've been wearing it for the last week just to kind of get familiar with it again. And it really sucks. No, the watch is good. The OS is still really bad. So I'm actually excited for this to roll out. And it should roll out. They said it over the next month. It'll start, and it's going to hit basically every modern Wear OS watch. This isn't just a new thing. If you have a Wear OS watch that you bought within the last year or so, you're going to get this big update, and probably pretty soon. So I'm kind of excited. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I know you aren't. You're like, I can't stand Wear OS, and I don't want any part of it.
The new Wear OS, it seems fine. I'm down to give it a try. I'm a bit more interested in the new watches that are coming. I guess like the software has never really interested me. It's always been about the hardware and the look of the actual pieces themselves. So I'm excited about that. These like hybrid mechanical pieces. I mean, whatever the hell they're talking about. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, is the hardware change that we think's coming with whatever Qualcomm announces. That'll get you back on board.
Oh, for sure. However, that new Falster from Skagen, pretty sure it's Skagen.
Skagen. I say Skagen.
Yeah. We suck at pronunciation.
Yes, we do.
So that watch, like the hardware, looks legit. However, I would never touch because it's got the 2100. And why are you buying a device with 2-year-old some odd plus processor when you got the new one literally right around the corner? So just wait. Just be patient.
Qualcomm told us. They said back at I/O, they said we're going to announce a new one this fall. We already have a top tier watch ready to go. And then they said followed by a whole bunch of releases then in what happened?
Who, me?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were trying to say something.
Oh, no, I'm looking up the Skagen pronunciation.
Oh, yeah, I see there's
Skagen. Yeah, I mean, I see one of 3 ways, and it's totally fine. From their website, you can pronounce it 3 different ways, so we're fine. We're in the clear.
But either way, so Qualcomm said, look, we got a new processor. We already got somebody lined up to launch the first watch, and then there's going to be a whole bunch in the holiday season. So I don't know what the heck all these other companies are doing, announcing all these watches that are. And I don't know why you would buy one. Like, you should not buy a watch right now, even if they look great. I mean, there was a good deal on, I think, last week on this guy. Like Best Buy had refurbished ones or something for like $180. That might have been worth it. Otherwise, either way, I'm excited for the new Wear OS. Skagen's Falster 2 was announced. That looks pretty nice. It looks nice, but it is running ill stuff. One thing I will say is all these new watches, they keep adding heart rate sensors and NFC and stuff. They're finally adding all the stuff we kept asking them to add. So it has everything. And how much is that Skagen one? Is it $270?
It was something like that, yeah.
It's not terrible. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not terrible.
Well, not as bad as Casio watch, but all right.
Yeah, so Casio announced one of their Trek weird outdoorsy watches, and it's what, $550, something like that.
$550.
Yeah, and Diesel, the brand, fashion brand, also owned by Fossil, they announced a watch, and to be honest, I do not care about it at all because it's like this big. Like everything they make is like this big and ugly, and so. If you care, go look it up. The Diesel announced a new Wear OS watch. The Skagen looks great. The Casio is fine if you're an outdoorsy guy. The weird thing I always thought with Casio was they announced these outdoor watches that were supposed to be rugged, badass watches, and they always lacked like GPS and stuff. You remember that? The first couple Casio, they didn't have GPS. And we're like, how can you have an outdoor watch that doesn't have GPS? What are you laughing at? It's pronounced Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, comments and chat that I can't repeat, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, newer Wear OS happenings. The biggest thing is the operating system change, and Qualcomm will announce their new chip on September 10th at a little event in San Francisco. I'm going to try to make it for that, and we'll see what they have. Hopefully, whatever LG's, we're pretty sure LG is going to announce the first watch or watches with this chip. So hopefully we see that then. I'm hoping.
I'm excited for that event. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Which typically you and I don't get really excited about much that Qualcomm does. I mean, we like it when they announce their new processor because we know what it's going to do and all of that stuff. But the chipset stuff, you and I don't really geek out about that. but a new one for Wear OS that could change the way watches are, maybe give them that mechanical look with being smart. That's actually exciting.
That is exciting.
It is.
It's important. I mean, the Android and Google is just so far behind in the wearable game, at least with compared to Apple Watch. I only ever see Apple Watches and Fitbit. So if there's something that could make Wear OS like competitive against the others, I'm all for it.
I hope so. Because you're right, all I see is Apple Watches and Fitbits too. I don't even see Samsung watches. People apparently buy Samsung watches. I don't ever see them. So
people seem to love those things, but like I've never seen one out and about.
Obi in the chat says, will the Pixel Watch get the new chipset? If there is really a Pixel Watch, I would imagine Google is going to launch it with this new chipset. So
yep.
Yeah, I would just fully expect that at this point. That anything after Qualcomm announces, I think it'll probably have a new chipset.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so at IFA, a bunch of Google Assistant news. Anytime we have a tech conference now, it's for the most part just Google Assistant in everything. That's kind of the takeaway. That was the way at CES, it was that way at MWC, and now again at IFA. So the big news from Google directly was that Google Assistant is now bilingual, which is kind of cool. They announced that you could have your Google Home units speak Spanish. Now, that was back in June. Now they're just saying, no, you choose 2 languages and it can interchangeably just talk both, whichever one you want to go with. And the supported languages are English, German, French, Spanish, Italian, and Japanese. And you just go in, right, it's already in there. I looked today. If you go into your Google Assistant settings or Google Home settings and your preferences, you choose the 2 languages you want, talk to it in either one, and it will respond back to you, which is pretty crazy. They're saying this is a first. I know, of course, they're going to say this, but they said it's a first of a kind addition to any sort of smart speaker. Like Amazon Alexa can't do this.
Bravo. Fantastic. Wunderbar. I mean, there's so many words.
Yeah. I mean, I've got no secondary language, but it's huge news for those families that do.
That's awesome.
It is actually pretty awesome. In addition to that, a whole bunch of speaker companies announced Google Assistant integration in speakers. The only one I think I care about is Marshall. So Marshall, who makes... Do you want to talk a little bit about the history of Marshall? You know Marshall better than me, and I know you have one of their Bluetooth speakers. Tell everyone about what Marshall did, because I'm actually really, really damn excited. It's not happening now, but in the future, we think, right?
Oh, yeah. I got confirmation that it will be by the end of this year. So Marshall, they're a amplifier company from the UK. However, the people who are creating these Bluetooth speakers for them is a third-party company. It's kind of like what TCL is doing with BlackBerry. They're just using the name and essentially, trying to stay true to the quality that people expect from that brand. So these Marshall new Bluetooth speakers will right now they're releasing Alexa powered smart speakers, but Google Assistant powered speakers are coming. They will be separate models. Initially, they weren't very clear on whether it was going to be one model of speaker that supports both Alexa and Assistant, but they will be separate models. And I got confirmation that the Google Assistant powered speakers will be coming by year's end. So
it's so exciting.
It's super exciting because they look great. They look just like the amps you would get from Marshall with that front weave. I actually have a Stanmore in the office, which I could show you, but it's too heavy. And I was
going to say they're really heavy. Yeah, they look incredible. They have that classic look.
It's a fantastic look. They've got the knobs just like they do on the guitar speakers. I only ever played Marshall back when I played music, and I love the sound. And the speakers themselves do sound very good, and they get loud. People ask if they go to 11. Haha, Spinal Tap reference. They do get loud, but there is no actual 11 marker on the amp. You could make one though, so you just draw it on there.
Draw one in there. Pricing wise, the big guy is $400. So Google Home Max pricing. Home Max. I would imagine I think Google Home Max sounds fine. I think it just is a really loud speaker. I don't know that I love the sound of Google Home Max. I'm hoping that these sound even better than Google Home Max. There's also a $299 one for smaller guys. So there's big guy and small guy. They have fancy names, Stanmore and things like that.
Stanmore 2 and what, Action 2 or Active
Action.
2?
Action
2. The Stanmore is the big guy. That's the one you're going to want. If you're going to drop $400 for a smart speaker, get that Stanmore. So I have the Stanmore, and that thing sounds incredible, looks freaking incredible.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
They're one of those companies, well, whoever's making them for them, but every time Tim and I go to CES, there's this booth in one of the halls in the middle where a company that represents like Marshall and some other brands, they always have this big booth, and we almost always stop by because they always have something to announce, and we basically just do it to just look at them and go, that's awesome.
And they're always serving beer.
That's true too. They always have a happy hour, and we always end up there at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's coincidence, of course, that we always get there at happy
Shocker,
hour.
we know who's serving beer, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of other assistant speakers that were announced there. We just thought the Marshall one was coolest because, we're just fans of it. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Outside of IFA, we've got
Kellen hating on everything.
Yeah. So I ranted a little bit this week on after seeing all the Pixel 3 XL stuff and then getting done with the Note 9. I think I've just come to the conclusion that this is going to be a smartphone year that we're just not going to really care about much going forward. We're not going to remember 2018 phones. And my argument was pretty much that the S9 was the second year of the S8 design language. The Note 9 is kind of the second year of the Note 8 with some improvements, of course. The Pixel 3 XL, everyone's already mad about it. Like, it's leaked so much in the notch, and people are so mad that I don't know that anyone's going to really care going forward. I think everyone already forgot that LG released a couple of phones, like the G7, and then they did a V35, I think, and they might have a V40. I just don't think that's memorable stuff. Essential didn't drop a new phone. OnePlus gave us a notched phone, which will soon be outdone by another OnePlus phone with another notch. So I wasn't trying to just be Kellen the downer, but when you look at last year, it was like a new thing, right? Like, we got the Pixel 2 XL. Like, the Galaxy S8, that brought in the design language of Samsung now. We got the Essential phone. I mean, like, we got some stuff like the OnePlus 5T was pretty awesome. It was their first all-display phone. Last year I thought was a really good smartphone year. This year it just seems like we're going to leave it and go, okay, on to the next year. Because we're already looking forward to this Samsung Galaxy S10 or X or whatever the heck it is, foldable, this and that. They're going to change next year, so it'll get better. Next year, we're going to see if Android Pie and Treble actually made a difference and if people update them. I mean, there's some things that will happen. Hopefully, Google protects its products a little bit better, so we don't know about them 2 months in advance. Maybe we'll hopefully see more Android One phones, because I feel like that's a trend that's coming. I don't know. So I wasn't trying to be the ultimate downer. I think we're going to remember 2018 as being a great smartphone year.
Well, if history repeats itself and you say that 2018 will be the year to forget, there's likely something that's coming later this year that'll just make it the greatest year in Android history. So thank you for that.
I will say, though, at the end of 2016, I said 2017 is going to be awesome. And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So I don't always get everything wrong, but
that's true. Essential Phone 2 would have really capped off this year. I think it would have made it just really.
I would have written greatest phone year ever, and it would have just been like pictures of the Essential Phone 2, and that's it.
Yeah, but no. Come on, Andy, what are you doing over there? All that money.
Let's see, and Ben in the chat says 2018 is notch the year you thought it would be. That's part of the thing, right? The notch is kind of what's killed a lot of it, I think, for many people, is we're in this middle ground. And this is kind of the argument I actually made, was that most of these companies seem to just be looking forward. Like, remember we sat at the LG G7 briefing, and there was no big push or excitement coming from the people there we talked to. They were just like, yeah, this is our phone. Yeah, it has a notch. This is what we have to, because we're trying to get to all. They were matter of fact about everything, and there was no real genuine excitement. And Samsung, like, they just gave us the same. We're looking forward to everyone's talk, and everyone else who's talked about the notch just kind of said, like, we have to do this. So next year it might be gone. It just felt like a lot of the companies also they're not really pushing these things like, this is the greatest phone ever. I mean, Samsung's pushing the Note 9 as the greatest phone ever, and it might be their best phone yet. So I get it, but the rest of it's just kind of fizzled.
Gary in the chat has a fantastic question. He said, "Who said 2018 was going to be the big rebound for HTC?"
Okay, Gary. I said I was excited for HTC 2018. It's not my fault that they failed me. They failed you.
They failed you so hard.
They really did. It's
That's right. We can put 2019 as the year for HTC.
No, I'm done talking about HTC ever again. It's crazy to think that HTC was doing all this stuff that I laid out in that post. That like, this stuff's getting better. This stuff's getting better. They're getting there. They're getting there. They're so close. It's going to be amazing. And then they're like, guys, let's screw with buttons. This would be a great idea. Let's put extra squeezy crap in some buttons, and like just ruined everything. It was like, what did you just do? You were this close. You were this close. And just killed it.
Yeah, Ben Jacobs is also wondering when is the year for Sagus. So Sagus's year should be like 2022. I think that's when that phone. I think it's still going through certification for Verizon. So I know it's gonna be a while.
This is where we cut in for a Sagus news break. Let's see. The last tweet from Team Sagus was on May 31st. Some guy was asking for a refund, and they gave it to him. Let's see. On April 24th, I can't believe it's been that long since they've tweeted. On April 24th, they were still testing for Verizon CDMA. What? What are they doing? How can they have any money left for this stuff? There's got to be like 6 people with pre-orders, right?
Yeah. I think it's still on track to have the Snapdragon 810 too. Or the 801, was it? So
on March 9th, they said we are currently working to get Google Mobile Services certification. Like, they hadn't even had this phone ready for Google services. Oh man.
It's because it's not real. You know, I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, even if you were lying to make a device, you could do a better job than waiting 4 years to say, okay, we're about to get certification from Google. Like, no, dude.
It's just wild. They just like learn something. They've obviously learned something new every week. Like, all right, guys, let's ship this phone that we've been working on for 4 years. And then somebody comes back and goes, well, you need to have Gmail on here. And they're like, oh, I thought that just came. Well, how do we do that? And they're like Googling how to certify a phone. And they're like, oh, we need to do this thing called Google Mobile Services.
It's really too bad.
I just can't believe that they keep telling people they're working on something. They might be done, though. I mean, May 31st was the last tweet.
Well, we know that they had an office around Salt Lake City, yeah, and it got shut down, and they were just gone. They dipped.
Yeah, we don't have full confirmation on that, but we've had at least 2 readers say that they drive by the Sagus office regularly, and they said there was this big building, and it had like a Sagus logo on the outside, and one of them stopped in, right? And
yes.
Did he say he ever talked to somebody? Or no, he said he talked to some of the other tenants, and they just said, no, they haven't had an office here in forever. They just have a sign on the building is basically what they said.
Yes. Yeah, that one.
And that was like a year ago, I think, when he told us that. So
that was a while ago.
They must have paid to have a sign put up with all that pre-order money, and then that was like it. And now it's just sitting on some building, and no one wants to take it down.
That was an empty ass building the entire time. Like, come on. Or like, there was a dude in there who sends out the tweets, right? You know, like, oh, okay.
Ben in the chat says that was him. Was it you that emailed us that told you stop by there, Ben?
No, that was Katie. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A reader by the name of Katie. Yeah, so it was in the local Utah news. It said KSL recently reached out several times to Sagus for comment, but did not receive a response. The company currently has a building located in South Jordan. But that building, from what we know afterwards, is that it was not abandoned, but just vacated.
Yeah, their spot in it, because there's other people in the building, and
Correct.
They just have a big fancy sign.
Yeah, it was like a business complex or whatever. So
yeah, Sagus. We'll keep you updated on them. I do check in with them and my friends at Comet Smartphone. I check in on them regularly.
I'm always reaching out for review units, trying to see if they'll send one out. Because, I mean, how cool would that be to do like a Sagus unboxing, a V2 or a V squared or whatever unboxing?
Whatever the hell it's called, yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, so we're slowly running out of time. We're going to do trivia. Verizon got in some hot water the other week where they were busted basically throttling first responder firefighter data plans that were supposed to be unlimited, throttled them down. And it's actually quite a bit of drama there. So because of it. And Verizon initially just said, look, we screwed up. Our customers need to get on a different plan. They kind of tried to blame them, and except they were also supposed to have lifted any sort of limits on people when there's a natural disaster going on, like massive wildfires in California. If you want to read about it, we have a pretty lengthy write-up at the site. However, their response now is they're going to release a new data plan for first responders. They're going to remove caps on current plans from first responders, but they're going to create a new one that gives them priority access, is truly unlimited with no caps, and they'll be able to upgrade it and it won't cost them anything extra or something like that. Yeah, that's fine, but why do we have to have a massive screw up with a first responder firefighting situation to finally rightly lift caps, have a truly unlimited plan? And I also don't know that I love this idea that there's priority access. I mean, we're talking about net neutrality, right? And Verizon's basically said now, yeah, well, we're doing a fast lane for first responders. And I don't necessarily know that I have a problem with that, because first responders in many situations probably could benefit and save some lives with priority access. But does it stop there? Or is this like the first step towards Verizon just to start clearing lanes? You know, that was the big thing, right? Net neutrality, one of the big arguments against or for having net neutrality rules in place was that these carriers are going to create fast lanes. And Verizon's done it now. They have announced this plan that said first responders have priority access to their network. So the first fast lane's done. The rest of us now are technically secondary access to first responders.
Which is fine. It does set a bad precedent, which I think is the point, right? It sets the bad precedent.
Right. Because we don't trust anything they ever do.
Exactly. Well, not only that, I mean, they victim blamed in the situation where these people are out there risking their lives to put out a wildfire. They're like, no, it was your fault. But no, we screwed up on the customer service end. Like, it was very odd, and it was very not tasteful for Samsung's PR team. However, like you say, it sets a bad precedent, and so who knows what's going to follow, right? You know, right. The first step for these priority access is you make people think it's a good thing. Oh yeah, first responders, but then you introduce it in another way that is not so consumer friendly. So, I'm not a huge fan.
Then hospitals have priority access, and then everyone's car that's connected because it's a smart car has priority access. And then as a consumer, you aren't getting a discount, but yet you're secondary access for everything. So yeah, we've started. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this fact, but Verizon has created a fast lane, and I'd imagine this isn't going to be the last fast lane we see. So
true.
Anyways. T-Mobile had a data breach. I was gone when this happened. Do you want to just briefly say what happened there? T-Mobile had a data breach.
Yeah, T-Mobile had a data breach. It affected around 2 million customers. I do believe it was like 3% of the of its total kind of customers. It said on August 20th, our cybersecurity team discovered and shut down an unauthorized capture of some information, including yours, and promptly reported it to the authorities. So what T-Mobile did is they recognized what happened, and they sent out a message to everyone who was affected.
Okay.
So if your information was affected, which could include name, billing zip code, phone number, email address, account number, and account type, T-Mobile should have already let you know that had happened. They initially said that nothing like banking information or password was taken. However, it later came out through Motherboard, I believe, that some possible sensitive information did get out, like encrypted passwords. We just don't know yet. So, I mean, but it appears that nothing too bad happened. I mean, this, breach is breach. That's just what seems to happen.
But certainly no financial data, not your social security number, that stuff.
Correct. Nothing too major.
Yeah. You should still probably change your password if you got a notice from them.
I would definitely change your password. I still feel like, remember the last T-Mobile breach that happened, I still feel like people should still have that free offer of the year of like identity theft protection or whatever. Yeah, so that's good. That, this happened possibly soon after that. So
possibly.
Yeah, breach.
All right, cool.
Breach.
Are we,
Oh, goody.
Oh,
trivia time.
I think it's time. It is trivia time. DL trivia for those new. This is the trivia dance if you're watching, in case you don't know what's going on. Trivia. What we do is every show. At the end of the show, we do 5 questions and we give prizes to 5 different winners, 1 winner per question. How it works is we put a question up on the screen. Tim shouts it out also in case you're just listening. And first person to answer in the live chat on YouTube wins a prize. And this week we're just giving away $10 in Google Play credit to every single winner. And that's pretty much it. We often recommended this time as I'm talking, you reduce the latency or whatever, or the quality down on your video stream or whatever you're doing so you hear it faster if you need to refresh, anything like that to get the most live feed. Whatever you need to do. We'll give you about another 10 seconds or so, and then it's trivia time. So again, 5 questions, 5 different winners, $10 Google Play credit to everybody this week.
I'm freaking out. Got to get my lights going. Oomsa.
There it is. There's the lights.
I had one set up on my little remote that would just like start freaking out, but apparently I don't know how to work my remote anymore, so I don't know. This thing sucks. Oh, there we go. All right. Wait. I hate it. I'm over it. Already over it. Just give me the reading light back.
Everyone really has dropped us down to 144p.
Good. That's what my video quality is already at, apparently. Freaking Discord.
Discord always giving you hell.
Giving me the business.
All right. Ready to get going here?
Yeah. So FYI, this is we got a little Throwback Thursday edition going on here. So don't expect any questions having to do with this week's news or even this year's news. So
look in the archive of your brain for this.
Exactly. So good luck. Have fun. Be safe. All right, let's go with question number 1, please.
Question number 1 going up now.
In what year was the Roboto font introduced for Android? Again, in what year was the Roboto font introduced for Android? I love Roboto. Oh. I'm seeing Tyler Young. Or no.
I got Adi.
Adi? Yep. Adi Krishna with the correct answer of 2011.
2011.
Man.
People just spamming out. Did you actually know that, Adi? Just curious if that was just a good guess.
I think he knew that.
He probably did. It was the first answer, actually.
Adi's a previous winner. I know he's got the smarts.
I feel like Adi did one like the previous show where it was also a date. Oh, he said he knew that one. And just guessed a random number, but could have been somebody else.
He says he knew that one.
Yeah, that's crazy. I certainly did not know that.
Even if it was a good guess, I mean, hey, we'll take it. Adi, congratulations. So just FYI, after we are done with the questions, Kellen will put his email address in the chat, and you will all email him and get your prizes taken care of.
We'll give you credit. All right.
I'm ready for question number 2.
All right, question number 2 going up now.
Who is quoted as saying they would go thermonuclear over Android?
Oh boy.
Again, who is quoted as saying they would go thermonuclear over Android? Oh, this really ooh, I'm seeing Brett Wright.
Yep. I got Brett Wright as well.
Right, with the correct answer of Steve Jobs. R.I.P. That was quoted in the book, the biography, Steve Jobs, which came out. It was from Isaacson. It came out shortly after his death.
Thermonuclear.
I do believe. Yep, thermonuclear. That was a big deal. Even we wrote that up.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, it was funny at the time.
It was funny at the time. All right, Brett Wright. Congratulations. You got some sweet Google Play credits.
Google Play credits.
All right, question number 3, please.
Question number 3 going up now.
In Android SDK, what does SDK stand for? So in Android SDK, what does SDK stand for? Come on, you nerds.
Come on, nerds.
The Super Developer Kit. I'm seeing Rick Cockrell with the correct answer of Software Development Kit, not Super. What was it? Super Dev Kit or something?
Yeah.
That's a good one. You
Good
get
job, Rick.
brownie points. Rick Cockrell, congratulations, winner.
Super Development Kit. That's great.
I'll take it. That's pretty awesome. Fantastic. All right, Rick. Congrats. Let's go with oh, you're so very welcome, Rick. 2 L's in your last name.
System
all right, just make sure we get the
kit.
winners here. Yeah. All right. Question number 4, please.
Question number 4 now.
Oh, before Bixby, what was the name of Samsung's digital assistant software? It sucked. Before Bixby, what was the name of Samsung's digital assistant software?
So bad. Clippy.
Clippy. Rashad with the correct
Rashad.
answer of S voice.
Rashad with S voice. Good job, Rashad. S voice was one of those things that you just disabled out of the box immediately because it tried to fire up, and there was this it was a lengthy tutorial, I think, just like Bixby was, except it did absolutely nothing. Oh, S voice. And I think initially it was programmed where like the home button, didn't you press in the home button to launch S voice, and so you had to disable it.
Yeah, I think it was like a double press, maybe a double press.
Maybe it was a double
button.
press. It was something to do with the home
bad.
button, and it was like if you didn't disable it, you were just going to be in a world of hell.
And it was so damn slow, and just it was the definition of jank.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it was
did.
bad.
It did absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler. Apparently, S voice. It was an assistant. It was an intelligent assistant, according to Samsung. I had to even Google if it was an assistant.
Yeah. It just did nothing, but it was technically an assistant. Yeah. It was their first attempt. It was right around when Siri dropped for the first time.
They were trying. Yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, technically, it's still there. It's just
Rick says
a
it's still
new
the
thing.
default on Samsung watches. I did not.
Yeah,
know.
S voice is still a thing.
That's crazy. What? Good Lord.
Yeah.
Is
It has
Bixby
a
on the
new-
Galaxy Watch, the new one? It must
That
be
I don't
Bixby
know.
on there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. We have the final question here. It is kind of a toughie. So, I'm not no hate if you got to Google it, or I'm sure someone will get it right away. Every
Someone's
time I
gonna
say
know right away. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, smart display. Okay. Let's go with question number 5.
Question number
Final
5 is up now.
Introduced with Honeycomb, what was the name of Android's UI theme that lasted roughly 3 years? Introduced with Honeycomb, what was the name of Android's UI theme that lasted roughly 3 years?
Tron.
Tron.
Ooh,
Corbin Baxter with the
Corbin.
correct answer. of
Holo YOLO. Was there like an entire Reddit subreddit called Holo YOLO? I think there
I think
was.
so. Corbin Baxter, you're the man.
Corbin with the quick holo there. Holo.
Holo.
Wasn't there some people that used to say hollow, and we used to say, no, it's holo. Holo YOLO.
Holo.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
there was a while where people thought it was hollow, and we said, no.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's holo.
It's definitely holo.
But we do suck at pronunciation, so.
This is true. Awesome. All right, so I'm dropping my email in the chat right now. If
Yes.
you are,
Winners, spam him.
if you won. Oh, it says oops, remove any web addresses. Does it give you that error before?
Doesn't give me that error. Just hates you.
It says edit. It says oops, remove any web addresses and try again. All right, so my email address is there, and there's a space in between.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna put it for him, but yeah.
All right, Tim, you just try. Tim's gonna put my email address in there. I don't really like saying it on air, but we're gonna put it in there. So email me right now. 5 winners: Audie, Brett, Rick, Rashad, Corbin, and I'll get you some Google Play credit. Yeah, why is yours
Congratulations, all of you smart people.
Very smart people. Very
And-
smart people.
Cheers, everyone who donated. Again, not necessary, but greatly appreciated.
Yeah, all
Beers
the
are on
donations.
all y'all
PC,
tonight.
Alex, Xavier, Iskandar. Iskandar said it's Iskandar, I believe. He said you were right. And Scott, thanks for all those super chat donations. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Fun show.
Woo. Friday.
Show. Yeah, Friday. So next week, I don't think there's any announcements. I think IFA might still be going on next week. I can't ever tell. And then we're just slowly creeping towards. Well, we got Qualcomm's event, and then we're creeping towards Pixel 3 stuff still. Lots going on. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Have a very safe and sober Labor Day. I know you soccer
Yes, Labor
dads
Day.
like to drink a little excessively and start yelling at people. Don't do that. Don't be an idiot.
Just don't yell. You can have a little extra beer if you want on Labor Day.
I guess that's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. DL Show episode 182. Peace.